Alright, so today we're going to be taking a look at Zoo. So first off, let's take a look at the deck. So this is Trump Zoo. Now Trump Zoo is a deck, So today we're going to be taking a look at Zoo. First off, let's take a look at the deck. So this is the Zoo deck that I ended up settling on. The basic concept of this deck is that you use a lot of low value minions to overwhelm the opponent. Low mana value, I mean. With the Abusive Sergeants, the Forbidden Rituals, Dragon Egg, Flame Imp, Possessed Villager, Voidwalker, you very quickly will build a board. Now, there's a lot of cards in here, such as the Abusive Sergeant and the Dragon Egg and Direwolf Alpha, Knife Juggler, Darkshire Councilman, Defender of Argus. They rely on having other minions in some way to benefit. And by having a lot of low-cost minions, you allow yourself to activate these battle cries at an early stage of the game. Because Defender of Argus, when it gives +1/+1, becomes a 4/5, but it's spread out over 3 minions. And that's actually quite a bit better than having it all on one minion, because then you can control the trades a lot better. Kazoo uses all of this power in its strong minion base in the early game to overwhelm the opponent's board control, and then uses the Warlock hero power to keep tapping for cards and just overwhelm them. You take control of the board and they never gain it back, and you quickly work their health total down once you have control of the board. All of these cards are very helpful for that. Sea Giant is another card that benefits off having a full board. The one card that I do not have, that if I had I would run, crafting. There he is. Gormok the Impaler. This is a card that is excellent within Zoo. It's actually pretty useless in almost any other deck, but within this format of Zoo, it's very frequent that you will have 4 other minions on the board, at which point Gormok's Battlecry will trigger and he becomes a pretty overpowered card. So this is the format that I settled on, but I have a couple other decks to show another way that you can run Zoo. This is a John Bedford net deck. I'm not too familiar with John Bedford, but I've seen a lot of decks like this, so it seems to serve as a good example of how you can make a Zoo deck to be a bit more aggressive in the mid-game. It uses cards like Leroy Jenkins and Dark Iron Dwarf to have a stronger presence once you reach that 4/5 mana slot. It allows it to overpower other aggressive decks and can occasionally provide the burst that you need to take down those strong control decks. I am not a fan of it because I feel having the better early game presence allows you to establish a stronger board against decks like Shaman, Hunter, Priest. Those sorts of decks require having a board to function, and by using the more aggressive variant you can overpower them faster. But this is another way to run the deck, and it has had a bit of success. I've lost to it a couple times with the old Leroy Jenkins power overwhelming for whopping 14 burst. And when it does that, it's great, but it doesn't often do that, and Leroy Jenkins isn't a great card in my opinion. But it's another option. Another version I'll show you is the Trump Zoo, which is actually even more aggressive than the variant that I run. He runs considerably more 1-drops with the extra Argent Squires, runs 2 Direwolves, and doesn't have as much at the end. He uses this deck to great success. My only issue with it is that I find that running out of steam is possible when you're just flooding out 1-drops, and I've never been too impressed with Argent Squire as a card. It's another option. It works pretty damn well, and honestly, any of these versions are all very successful decks, so it's mostly a matter of playstyle and what you prefer. Alright, so that's the deck, and I'm going to show you guys a couple of games of me playing around with Zoo, and hopefully you can learn a little bit about this deck and go and play it on ladder. Shaman.
For Doomhammer, your soul shall be mine.
Well, Flame Imp's a keep. And the other two, get the hell away from me. Wrathguard is particularly good against Shaman because of Totem Golem. Although in this case, we have the Direwolf Alpha on the Flame Imp if he coins Totem Golems. which is typically a misplay. This also kills Trogzors, so in this matchup it's fantastic. It's a bad play. He's overloaded now.
Regret this.
I'd rather have the 4-3 than the buff. I want the buff to have its immediate impact, whereas 4-3... Are you gonna do Lightning Bolted again? Get Rock Biter. I don't think that's the correct play, though. Saving the Abusive. My Possessed Villager can clear Totem Golem right now. Roll low on the Wrath Guard. Good. Alright.
Get in there, fight, maggot.
We'll hold on to the Abusive. I'll likely be able to play Abusive with whatever I draw next turn.
I can see what is to come.
And this way I can use the Abusive to clear that.
Don't worry, loves. The cavalry's here.
Just trying to control the board. Shaman is one of those classes that it needs a board to do a lot. Like, similar to Zoo in a lot of ways. This matchup tends to be really one-sided, one way or the other. It's favoring me a lot right now. It seems like he's having a lot of trouble. That's a good play. Power Overwhelming wrecks him. Like, he is dead. That's one way to get Power Overwhelming. Mortal Coil. So we can do 4, 5, 6, which is one short. Or we can do it with these two, and that kills it, with the Mortal Coil to draw a card. We'll tap as well. Okay.
Get in there, fight, maggot.
If he Lightning Storms here, it's fine. Like, yeah, he clears my board, but I'm just gonna swarm up again. Like, immediately. It's fine.
Buying or selling.
Fantastic.
Fight, maggot. Sever my wrath.
Probably have lethal next turn. Because I have 9 damage potentially from hand. Although the ordering has to be Power Overwhelming Doomguard, not Doomguard Power Overwhelming. So I need something to stay on board. Oh, that's not good enough. Because he's going to have to hit. Which puts him down to 14. Then I've got 2, 4, 6, 9, 10 plus this. So plenty. Hey, and another Power Overwhelming just for shits and giggles.
Sever my wrath.
9 over lethal. Very one-sided. It's like, if he gets the board, he wins. If I get the board, I win. I had a 1-drop that was really good and really good 2-drop, really good 3-drop, so on and so forth. And it's just Shaman can't keep up. Like, and it's the same thing for Zoo, though. Like, if I can't use those Abusive Sergeants, it's a shitty card. As long as I have minions, though, to buff with Abusive Sergeant, it's amazing. And that's the whole nature of both of our decks. And when you have that kind of matchup, it's tough. I'd say Zoo's favored. Well, Shaman has the powerhouse cards, but Zoo has the more consistent opening. It's a debate, honestly. That made me feel like Zoo is favored. At the beginning, I'm saying Shaman's favored, and that's how close I think it is. Anyway, carrying on.
Gul'dan versus Jaina.
You asked for it.
Your soul shall be mine.
Okay, so here, it's tempo, almost certainly. This is all bad. The Direwolf's slightly tempting, but I need something that'll buff by more if I draw Possessed Villager or Dragon Egg. Because the goal is to kill the Mana Worm that he plays on turn 1 as quickly as possible. Alright. Count my blessings, he didn't play Mana Worm, frankly. Oh, it's a Cthulhu Mage. We haven't ran into one of these yet.
Get in there and fight, maggot.
Cthulhu Mage is silly, in my opinion. I think there's better classes for Cthulhu, but let's not underestimate the class. I mean, he's going to be running a ton of board clears and stuff, so I do feel the need to start applying pressure as early as possible. Just in order to keep up.
Feel my pain. Never my brand.
Power Overwhelming will be useful to end the game sooner. Or to clear that. That's also a good use. Yeah, this is just push them, wreck them. Cthulhu decks, they're never gonna see turn 10, so let's not worry about Cthulhu. That's why I think Mage is a bad Cthulhu class, because it doesn't have a lot of healing like Warrior does or Priest does, which I think are the strongest Cthulhu classes. Paladin has that healing too, but N'Zoth Paladin, my god. Okay, so I've got 5, 6, 12. Put him to 5. On turn 6, he could have Blizzard. It's okay. If he Blizzards me here, that still doesn't deal with the immediate threats, so he'll have to spend his next turn dealing with them, and next turn, what do you call it? Flame Strike wouldn't be good enough, so discarding there the 2 cards to get the Doomguard out, just pressing in the damage. I can't think of a combination of cards that he could have to get him out of that, and even if he does get out of that, he's still in a terrible position, and it's turn 6, so plenty of time.
Gul'dan versus Gera.
Okay, so here we have a Warrior. Could be Control, Tempo, Cthulhu, even Reno. I've seen a couple of those. Pretty rare, though. We'll see. For those of you who aren't aware, Tempo is this new pirate thing that Warriors are doing. It's kind of neat. Missing some of the cards for it, but might do it sometime soon. Three, 2. Baits out a clear. Possibly. Possibly. This is some sort of control.
Armor made to fit.
Probably. I doubt he hits that, so if he hits there, then I have the power overwhelming. I want to burn my hand as quickly as possible in this situation. He has whirlwind effects, but that's what I was hoping for, to get lucky on the juggle. A little bit greedy on my end, hoping for that, but it works out sometimes. And if it didn't work out, I wouldn't be in a terrible position either. I have just the answer for that. Can I draw one? No. Brawl hurts a decent amount here, but as long as the imp doesn't win, it's not too bad. So I do have Doomguard next turn, which is incredibly strong. Oh? Is this some sort of weird-ass patron? So here's where the debate to go face. No, that's too juicy a clear. I just didn't want to use the Doomguard to clear there. I really want to hit with the 5 damage against a warrior. Because no matter what kind of warrior this is, it's a control variant. And I can't really clear patrons once they get out there. But the idea is to never let them play the patrons. We'll keep the possessed villager with its death rattle just in case he clears here with brawl. Although if it's Grim Patron, I don't know if you have room for the brawls. That must be what he's digging for, though.
Made to fit.
Yeah, 5, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12. More than 12. 15. Just swarm them down. He really needs the brawls, and I mean, it's only 2 cards max in his deck. It's pretty hard for him to draw it.
Gul'dan versus Jaina.
You asked for it.
Your souls shall be mine.
So we have a mage here. Mage is usually playing tempo right now. In which case, the possessed villager on turn 1 isn't bad if I have something to hit it with, though. So I'm really afraid of Mana Worm turn 1 from him. Ugh. So I really want the Power Overwhelming or Abusive Sergeant.
Get it out! Get it out!
We'll see. We will see. He might not have it. He has it. That's just not good enough. Alright.
Buying or selling.
We'll see if we need the Abusive Sergeant next turn or not. So this matchup's pretty tough as Zoo. Mostly because it's hard to keep up enough pressure.
Deal.
I like having the threat out, especially because next turn I can play 2 1-drops and a 2-drop. So that'll be pretty strong. He almost has to Fire Blast the 2-1, but if he does that, that's pretty much his whole turn. Oh, come on. Never lucky, never lucky. Yes. Oh, okay, well, I'm probably not that lucky. Alright. It sucks, but it's not that bad, really.
Get in there and fight, maggot! You will regret.
I could have hit him in the face, but Flame Waker represents a lot of potential damage. Dragon Egg serves as kind of a nice counter, but even so, I'm quite alright with that play from him. Alright, tap. And 2, 1. Actually, should have placed the Flame Imp on the right side. That's a small mistake. We'll see if it costs me. Just because the Dragon Egg's going to produce a minion, probably, and then that'll be buffed by the Direwolf Alpha, whereas if I have the Flame Imp on the other side, when the Abusive Sergeant dies, which it might get Fire Blasted, I would have the ability to hit him. The only plus side to this positioning is the Defender of Argus can go between the two, which is preferable. We're getting low. We've already seen 1 Fireball. And I don't think he's going to have that much more burst. So, that'll probably be our last tap. We have 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16 damage in possible.
I'm not lonely. Glory to the Sindori.
It's tempting to tap looking for lethal here, actually. And I can play my whole hand, so... Alright.
Get in there and fight, maggot!
Is this really necessary?
We have to be afraid of Flame Strike next turn. I should have played this first.
Get it out! Get it out!
Oh, Flame Strike, hit that, clears everything but a 2-1. And a 1-1, so I would have 3-7 damage. So I would need another Power Overwhelming to win. Or a Doomguard. Dark Peddler can draw the Power Overwhelming as well, or a Soulfire.
Someday I'll be just like you.
Oh, is this the big swing turn? I think I just win here, honestly. Yeah, you get the Frostbolt. I'm even pretty unlucky with that. But that's still 5, 9. Yeah, that's... He needed the Flame Strike. Without it, I overwhelmed him. Very much a matchup where you just want to play as fast as possible, and then eventually you have to make the decision to go face, because, well, not necessarily. Once you get to a low enough life total that you can't tap, that's where you have to start going face, because you're going to run out of cards. Until then, you want to clear the board and just try to get that control and tear away the tempo from the Tempo Mage, because if you do, you win. So that was Zoolock. I mean, another deck that's been around since the beta, but it's changed quite a bit in recent years. Well, recent times, really, just the last couple months with this new set. But it's honestly, it's stronger than ever, and it's really dominant right now, and it's a ton of fun to play. I really enjoy just swarming your opponent down with tons of little minions, and you do that faster than ever now.
Oh.
Thoughts, Jay?
Well, as I don't play Hearthstone, some of our viewers may know, but I play a number of other card games, and I'm always amused by the inclusion of the word zoo, the iconography and the art that comes with having a zoo deck. For all those Legend of the Five Rings players out there, literally would summon animals. I'm sure Magic has an example. I'm not that...
Well, that's where it comes from.
Oh.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's in Magic, it's in everything, yeah.
It's in Vanguard, it's in a ton of different games. People just like that idea. It's always a rampagey sort of... Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah, lots of fun, and, you know, Hearthstone has their own version of it, and it's alive and well still, so... I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and like and subscribe below. Leave some comments, and honestly, I want to ask you guys, what do you think of Warlock versus the new aggressive decks out there? I've been having a lot of trouble in the Divine Shield matchup, and what do you think? Do you think it's favored for them, or do you think maybe there's something I'm doing wrong with my play, something that you find that you've made adjustments to your deck to help you in that matchup? Because I'm really new to that matchup, and I just don't know what's the best solution. What do you guys think the solution to that matchup is for Zoo?
Thanks for watching. And like you said, comment, subscribe below. Let us know.